Okay, so you have a few problems. This is old stuff. That doesn't mean it's easy stuff, but it's stuff that you know you've got to reach way back into the dusty part of your brain, clear some cobwebs, and bring it out front again. You're finding area. So area is the inside of a shape, and I think the first shape you have is a funny looking triangle. Looks like that. And then it's super funny because it has a line that goes down like this and like this, and it says that this side is maybe 14 and this side is, the height is 10. I'm going to try to draw that again. That's a really weird triangle. And then they give you these sight lines. Dash, 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 dash. Okay, so then it gives you measurements. Yours looks like this, where it says 14 and 10. 14 is the base and 10 is the height. So I'm not going to use 14 and 10. I'm going to make up different numbers. I'm going to use 15 and 8. Yeah, oops, sorry, I don't want the 8 there. I want the 8 over here. Because when you use a triangle, it's important that when you measure the height, you measure straight up and down. If I was going to measure how tall I was, I certainly wouldn't stand sideways or lay down or lean up against a wall. I would stand up as straight as I could to see how tall I was. So it's the same rule with the triangle. So if you look at your reference chart, right there, you have area of a triangle, and it looks like this. So that's what you're going to use to solve that problem. So you have A equals 1/2 BH, and B is base and H is height. So then you're going to write underneath it, A is still A, 1/2 is still 1/2. Base, though, my base is 15, yours is 14. And height, my height is 8, yours is 10. Now, it's multiplication, so I can do it in any order I want. I am going to multiply 1/2 and 8. So I know that 1/2 times 8 is 4. So now I have area equals 4 times 15. And so now I'm going to say 15 times 4 is 60. Now, of course, your answer won't be 60. You have different numbers than I do, but you should have 1, 2, 3, 4 lines on your paper. You need the formula without numbers, the formula with numbers, the first step to solve, and then the last step to solve. So I think the next shape you have is a rectangle. It's not a square, it's a rectangle. There are rectangles that are squares. That's just a rectangle with even sides. And I don't remember what your measurements were, but I'm going to say that mine is 3 and 9. So looking at my reference chart again, I'm looking in area of a rectangle, and right there's my formula. So on my paper, I need to write A equals BH. So then you're going to rewrite it. A is still A. Base is 9. And height is 3. Now, it really doesn't matter which number is your base and which number is your height, because you're going to multiply them. So 9 times 3 is 27. Of course, your numbers are different. So if you copy me, it doesn't make any sense. Make sure you use your numbers. Okay, so number 3 is this crazy shape like this. Something like that anyway. And that's a pretty weird shape. We've got a line here and everything has measurements. So I'm going to say this is 4, this is 6, and this is 3. And I don't know what your numbers are, but they're not quite the same. Now this one, when you look at the reference chart, you are looking for area. That weird shape is a trapezoid. And because it's a weird shape, it gets a weird formula. Guys, the trapezoid is the triangle formula with one extra step. So the triangle formula is 1/2 BH. The trapezoid formula is 1/2, but instead of B, it's B1 plus B2. H. It's exactly the same. It's the only thing that's different is this is this. You just add the two bases together. So let's look at that. Two bases. This is a base and this is a base. In a trapezoid, your bases are the two parallel lines that are across from each other. So your formula, A equals 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times height. Just like with the rectangle, I don't care what's base 1 and base 2. You're going to add them together. It's going to be the same. So we have A, we have 1/2. Base 1, I'm going to say is 4. Base 2 is 6. And my height, just like a triangle, it has to be straight up and down, is 3. So I'm going to do this addition first because PEMDAS or GEMDAS says you do what's in the parentheses first. So 4 plus 6 is 10. And then I'm going to multiply in any order I want. 1/2 times 10 is 5. And 5 times 3 is 15. So for your trapezoid, you have this many lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines to complete that trapezoid. Anything less than that, you're not doing it correctly. And I can give you all the answers. That's not what's important. The important thing is you know how to do it correctly. All right, you have one more question. And this one is a doozy. I put this question on here because a lot of us missed this one on our mock star. Let me find it. There it is. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do when you get one of these is with your highlighter, you need to highlight the y-intercept. For the y-intercept, that is when x equals 0, y has to equal what? 3. So you can already cross one off like immediately. And for this, guys, I would make my own table and I would use the numbers they gave me. So they have 0 and then 2. So I would get me some scratch paper. Y equals x divided by 4 plus 3. And I would change that to 2 divided by 4 plus 3. 2 divided by 4 is 1/2 plus 3. If you line them up, so when x is 2, y has to be 3.5. You just crossed off another one. Now you're going to do it with, looks like -4. So you have y equals x divided by 4 plus 3. And you're going to change that x into a negative 4 divided by 4 plus 3. GEMDAS says you do division first. Negative 4 divided by 4. Don't forget, it's negative 1. So negative 1 plus 3. You're gonna finish your table and cross them off as you go. Once you've crossed 3 off, whatever's left is your answer.